Hello. This is David. Oh, wait, I forgot my name. It's Sir David the Bard. I'm back in Kangaroo City. Yeah, they have an ankle bracelet on me that if I leave, I get shocked. They have a GPS on me. Coming out of Kangaroo City here in Australia. I want to do a video. I do a lot of thinking. Being bipolar, we don't need to be entertained. We can entertain ourselves infinitely with our own brain. You can put us in solitary confinement because we don't want to be with you guys anyway. So that's not a punishment to us. I do a lot of thinking on why do people join the damn Mormon church? Why do people go to cults? Well, again, I have a little bit of an educational background, and I'm going to tap into that, which I don't do often. Some people are born in the Mormon church, and when you take a small child and you do the testimony glove with them and sing "I'm a Child of God," that used to be my favorite song when I was in the Mormon church. And you put them in a Sunday school class and a primary class, and you give them cupcakes, and you dance and you sing, and clowns come in and entertain the children. They get the impression that this is pretty good. This is a pretty good church. They go places, they do things, and eventually girls camp and boys, I don't want to say Cub Scouts, scouting program, and they have dances, and they go places. Well, that's pretty bitchin'. That's pretty neat life. The problem is the damn doctrine sneaks in slowly, like sarin gas coming underneath the door. You're bearing your testimony to things you have no idea of. I know Joseph Smith was a prophet. God dang. He was about as far from a prophet as I am. I know the church is true. True about what? That's just a Mormon phrase. I know the church is true. Well, true, or is the church a lie? Well, why do they emphasize that it's true? Isn't there an assumption that that a church is true? Well, not the Mormons. They have to say, I know the church is true. And then they always add in, I know that Monson is a prophet. He hasn't prophesied one thing. He hasn't done one thing other than putting electrodes on penises at BYU of homosexuals to try to change their sexual orientation and bankrupt beneficial life. Do you know how many life insurance companies go bankrupt in the United States? Only the Mormons stealing the damn money out of the funds. Anyway. If you're a child and you're brainwashed, that I can understand. And when you're taught not to take in additional information through the internet or books or friends, you shun those that don't believe the way you believe because you might get an idea that what you believe is not true. So the cult is very, very good at isolating, and then telling you what you're going to eat, the word of wisdom, what you're going to dress like, your underwear, garments, and what movies you're going to go to. I saw that the other day on the Mormon whatever.org. Pretty soon they're telling you what to say, who to vote for, and your whole life is now controlled by the cult. Well, you go through school, and there's a lot of social pressure, and now they've lowered the age of missionaries to 18, so you don't even get to go between 18 and 19 to see the real world. You go right out on a mission, and you're banging on doors and insisting that your religion is a religion, that it's not a cult. Well, that group of people, I can understand. That's like prisoners, what is that? I can't think of the name. You guys will think of it. It's where you're captured and pretty soon you become friends of your capture. Is it Nass-Hyman's syndrome? I can't even say it. Anyway, I understand the brainwashing. Now, here's what I have thought about and thought about. You're a full-grown person, and you've never been exposed to Mormonism other than the newspapers or whatever. And two missionaries knock on your door, and you let them in. That's the second mistake. Knocking on my door is the first mistake. Inviting them in would be the second mistake. Well, my wife, Jeannie, was a missionary in Anaheim, Disneyland, California. They should have dressed her up like Mickey Mouse to go tracting. But anyway, she was a missionary in Anaheim, California. And she used to say to me, Sir David the Bard, the bitch. Anyway, let's not go into that. She said, I noticed on my mission that people that were in trouble, they were bankrupt, or they're getting divorced, or their sickness, they were the best prospects for the church. Now, I've thought about that for many years. And I've also thought about Jeannie in a Mickey Mouse costume for many years. But anyway, that left an impression on me. And now I go back with my education and my training in social work and take a look at why would some human beings be attracted when they're desperate. Well, here's the answers I've come up with. They may not be true. I don't know, but I'm happy with them. Number one, if you've lost control or believe you've lost control of your life, you're going to be very interested in getting control back. Very interested. And so when somebody says to you, well, we have the priesthood, and they just put their hands on your head, and they can cure cancer, that's a good thing. New people are going to go, hey, that's bitching. How do I get in here? Oh, you have to pay 10%. That's good. I'm paying 90% for doctors. 10% for a priesthood blessing, that's cheap. Well, then there's others that, most of us in life, have family problems. We have moron children, and we have, what is that word? I can't think this morning. I didn't take my meds yet. Anyway, we have problems with our family, with our brothers and sisters, our parents, and not sometimes, all the time, with our children. And when our children are in jail, which most of mine are there, and they're doing drugs, and they hate us, and you're not my father, and they set the house on fire, they've stolen the car, pretty soon, when somebody says to you, we're a family church, we believe in the family, and you can live with your children forever. Now, I'm smart enough to go, I don't want to live with my children here. Why would I want to live with them up there? But not everybody's as smart as that. Some of them go, well, maybe if I joined your cult church, my kids would straighten out. Yes, they will get the spirit and the burning in their bosom. I've burned them in the bosom several times, and they still run away and say, well, our church can fix that. Oh, that's bitching. I kind of like that idea. Well, then you get the people who are getting divorced, and especially the women. Women are much easier to convert to the Mormon church because they like the idea of men being controlled, which is hard. But the missionaries will present, and the church will present to the prospective couple, whether they're separated or divorced or in the process, that men are pigs. Men are pigs. And in our church, we know how to control those pigs. And the woman goes, hey, I'm interested. I couldn't control the pig, and if you guys can, hey, I'm joining. And the men, they join because they're divorced, and they're 47 years old, and it's hard to date when you're 47 or 53. And so when there's young adult activities, you believe you're a young adult again. The little general says, we're still young. So you go and you find some stupid ass girl that's 31 or 26, and you portray to her that you're a good priesthood holder. You just had a bad wife, and she's so stupid she married you. Okay, those are some of the things I've thought about. Now, I'm going to psychology now, what I've learned about human beings. One of the main factors of a cult is fear. F-E-A-R. Fear keeps people in the cults. I think fear makes people join the cults. Now, I know some of you are going to say, well, I've met a lot of Mormons and they're not fearful people. Let me tell you something about fear. It's very, very subliminal. You can't tell. You may see people get up in front of huge audiences and speak, and you go, gee, I wish I was like him. He has no fear. Well, he may have fear, you just don't see it. Or he has it covered in some way. Now, don't judge fear by good looks or money or whatever. People who have good looks and money are fearful that their good looks will be gone and their money could go at any moment. So fear is a very, very strong motivation for people joining a cult. Mostly social fear. People who have not done well in their lives with friendship, deep friendship, and or loyalty, or being somebody. Now, the missionaries will say, well, you can be someone. All you got to do is be a damn nerd. Put on your nerd glasses, your nerd bow tie, and pick up a briefcase, and you'll be a general authority in our church. And they go, oh, shit, I can be somebody. And say, yeah. Doesn't matter what you look like. It's that we promote from within, and the more faithful you are and the more money you give, the higher you go. Well, I got lots of money. I don't need 10%. I can live on 90% with no trouble. Well, then you know, get your white clothes on. Let's go swimming. Well, I've looked at this over and over again, and I've really thought about doing a scientific study. Testing whether 1,000 Mormons are more fearful of things in life than regular people. And I'm pretty sure that they are. They're fearful that they'll lose their family. They stay in the church. They're fearful if they read something that proves that their church is wrong, they're going to be apostatized, and before you know it, they've lost their job, their money, their house, everything. The cult causes that fear over and over, almost on a daily basis in the Mormon church. If you don't do your home teaching, you know, God will get you. If you don't pay your tithing, you will turn black. Oh, wait a minute, my black friends. I have so many black people that watch me. I don't know why. I used to be black, but I was living the gospel, and I turned white, just like the Book of Mormon said. I just suddenly turned white. So anyway, fear is a very, very important element of a cult and of the Mormon church. You fear for your financial well-being. You fear basically for your life. The Danites will come and get you. One little girl asked me, could I do a video on the Danites? And I don't want to do a whole video on them, but Danites were famous during Joseph Smith and Brigham Young's rule of the Mormon church, and they were professional assassins. They killed people that disagreed. Well, is that fear? No. Most human beings, yes. Now, the other thing about fear, with most normal human beings, now I'm atheist, it's different for me. Whether I live or die today, I don't give a rat's ass. Where I go when I'm dead, I don't give a rat's ass. But most people do. Most people are scared that their life is so miserable here. If you threaten them with hell and no penis in the Mormon church, if you don't go to the highest kingdom in the Mormon church, your penis falls off. I don't know if they sew your vagina. I don't know what they do with the vaginas. But anyway, most humans fear death because it's uncertain. No one can tell them about death. Well, cults do. Cults make up shit, and humans Mormon humans, are inclined to believe that there's three kingdoms, and families are forever, everyone's dressed in white, and you have a mansion. Here on the earth, you don't have a mansion, you just have a stupid house, and you want a mansion. And so the attraction of the Mormon church, I can understand, to sick people. Now, you can't tell sick people. Now, I've done years of counseling, and I've done a lot of interactions with human beings professionally. You don't know who's scared. You don't know who's terrified. You don't know. You cannot see it on the outside. It's in the mind. And so you can have dentists, doctors, lawyers, and CPAs, and professional people, along with working class people that have tremendous fears, facing fears in life. But if they get into a damn cult, they can wear a suit. If you're a construction guy and you've never had a tie on in your life, and you feel you have no respect, God, you join the Mormon church and you go into a priesthood class, you might be teaching the lesson. You go, hey, I am important, yeah. And that fear is triggered, and that fear is soothed. Like I said, all you got to do is put on geek glasses and a bow tie, and you're moving up the line. You're moving up the line. Now, the other thing is that a lot of these people who join the Mormon church are sexually atypical. when you when you isolate men and women from sexual activity until they're 22 years old, you don't have normal people. You have men that will screw trees. You have women who'll jump on gear shifts in a car. The old ones down on, well, yeah, the new ones too, they're down on the council now. Anyway, not that I'm an expert on that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Anyway, when you have sexually inhibited people, they're terrorized of everybody and everything. Their feelings, their emotions, their own development, and their own pleasure, their guilt. So if you didn't have sex organs in the world, you would not have a Mormon church. That's the main motivation of the Mormons, is to control your peepees. So now, when you get married, it's a reward when you're 24 years old and you can actually see a vagina and use a vagina. You go crazy. And so you have trapeze in your bedroom, and you have mirrors hanging from your wall, and pretty soon your wife, she goes, this is shit. This is way over the top. And so then there's a lot of divorces in the Mormon church, because a man that doesn't have an erection from 11 years old until 24, he has an erection for the rest of his life. It's just there. It's just there all the time. So it's fear. It's fear that keeps these people in this religion, cult, and it's fear that causes people to come in. It alleviates, or they think, if they're afraid of things that they've done, and being baptized in the Mormon church erases all of that. God, they'll get those white clothes on right now and get in the water. That's a wonderful draw, that you've been a mean or ugly or divorced or who knows, even criminal stuff, that you can be joining the Mormon church, and once you come up out of the water, you're pure. You're pure. Now, that's a big draw to a lot of people. And it's also a big draw to people who've never really had a church cult involved in their lives. They don't know how to, it's kind of like a magazine salesman. If no one comes to your door, you usually don't buy magazines. But if a magazine salesman comes to you, hey, okay, I'll buy a couple. And that's kind of like the Mormon church. I never joined a church. I don't know too much about them. But, oh, here's 2 salespeople right here. Okay, yeah, that sounds good to me. So you pay your tithing, or you can't go to the temple. If you can't go to the temple, you're not first class. You keep your non-member, or not atheist, Apostate. I knew they both started with A. Apostate friends away from your marriage. You keep your dad and your mom and your grandparents away from your marriage. One of the most important dates in a family's life. You've learned that it's more important to go to the temple and not have your parents there. That's what the cult has taught you in 18 or 20 years. They'll teach you much more over the next 20, but that's the one where you love your underwear more than you love your parents. Now, that divides families, and there comes the fear factor. The people who aren't members of the cult, they're fearful because they won't see their children married, and their children won't talk to them. They're shunned. And then the other people who are in the Mormon church, they're fearful because if their parents or their non-member friends start talking to them, they're going to be convinced that they're in a circus. They're in a circus. So, anyway, take a look at fear. Dissect it. It's inside of us. Seldom does it show on the outside. And like I said, if you put a bow tie on and geek glasses and pick up a briefcase, you look pretty important. You might be a real asshole, but nobody knows it anymore. Thanks.